Yo, 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 it's your boy, CryptoCrazy. What's going down, Rad Fam? No, it's Rad Dad, of course. But welcome back to another episode of the Rad Dad podcast. So glad you could join me today. Thanks for tuning in because I've got the boys on today. I've got Yoyoyocryptorock, who's a fantastic YouTuber that covers a lot of the high-risk, high-reward plays that go down right now. But, you know, he's made a lot of people a lot of money, so you might want to listen to him. I've also got CryptoCrazy, who's his buddy, who is the CEO of the Kang Kai miner, which is super hype right now, and I'll tell you firsthand, the aesthetic on this thing is fucking on point. If you like 90s video games, pixel art, you're in. Just take a look, you're gonna love it, alright? So stick around to the end so you don't miss anything. Before we get into the episode, I got a couple things, alright? First and foremost, the RadDAO Telegram group is open for business. You want more content? You want to chat with me in between episodes? That's the best place to do it. So join with the link in the show notes below. Also, over the next couple months, I'm going to be putting out some YouTube shorts that kind of go a little bit deeper on some of the concepts and the terms that we talk about on this episode to give you a better foundation of what we're talking about. I don't like rehashing all the definitions and that sort of thing, so I'm going to put it all out there. Take a watch and you'll get a better handle on what we're talking about in each episode. Finally, please make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, that you've liked this video, and that you've left me a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. We are trying to get this channel to 1,000 subs so I can get this thing monetized, start making a little coin, and then start bringing you better and more frequent content. And who doesn't want more content? So with that, let's get into episode 13. Oh, fucking 13. Wow. Episode 13, all right, of the RadDAO podcast. Let's go, fam.
Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody?
I love that signature intro. I love it. I love it. So
I had to let him go.
Yeah, no worries. So let's start with Rock. Kind of give me, how'd you get into crypto in the first place, and like, why are you still here when everybody else left?
Yeah, that's a good question. So originally I was like, I got involved in like stocks and stuff like that. And I was really, but without a lot of money, you really can't be a major player. You're really limited on trading. If you don't have, at least 25,000 in your account, you can only make so many trades a week before you're basically cut off and, let's say whatever, blacklisted basically. So, I was starting off just really learning and kind of trying to get the feel for some technical analysis. And it was really hard to do because on Robinhood, and that's kind of how everyone, a lot of guys I know got their start was on Robinhood and stuff. You would try to buy, but like you were lumped in with everyone else. So you really didn't get the price that you wanted anyway. So a couple guys recommended a new platform that had come out, and I checked it out, and it was like Webull. And I was looking at that, and I had no idea what I was looking at. I was like, this is totally insane. I don't understand what's going on. And, I'm the kind of person I never let that, stop me. I wasn't going to let that stop me from, trying to learn what, I really wanted to get into that. And, I wanted to learn how to, invest my own money. I know a lot of guys, they pay a guy and they have a guy or, they're doing their investments. But really, at the end of the day, what fun is that? You really don't have any control over it. It's just I think of it like this. It's just some old stuffy guy in an office wearing a suit, manipulating your money for his own gain, but telling you he's really doing it for you and he's really doing it to stuff his pockets too. So I'm really a decentralized believer. And when I finally started to, crypto trickled into those platforms. But what was the point? You couldn't buy it, again, for the prices that you were really looking at buying it for. You were just lumped into a category and they made the buy or the sell whenever they felt like it. You kind of got cheated, I would say. I felt out of my profits because if I thought I sold at a particular point and they sold when they felt like it, you weren't really guaranteed the gains that, they said you were going to get. So there you go again. It was more like it was centralized. Someone was controlling your money and doing it when they felt like. So I started doing my research, and like anything else, I went on YouTube and I started, looking at, crypto and how to learn more about technical analysis. And the more I did it, the more I started getting videos from some of the big YouTubers. And I'm not going to put anybody's names out there, but there's a lot of guys out there and they were promoting DeFi projects. Well, I didn't understand how it worked. I was really excited. I'm like, man, this is great. I had no idea that when the contracts go to zero, it goes to zero. So I had no idea. So who knows? I don't even know how long these projects, they could have been going weeks or whatever. So I ape in, I get in, I'm all excited. I get my MetaMask wallet set up. I get myself on, Binance. And then, I'm like, I'm ready to go. And then I'm like, oh man, this project's on Matic. I don't even know it at this point. I don't even know what that is. So I do my research. I get it on there. I get myself some Matic. I can't wait. I hurry up. I ape in, whatever, a couple hundred Matic. I'm really excited. And there's a little countdown timer on the bottom. I'm all pumped. I'm like, all right, in 3 minutes and 25 seconds, I'm about to make, 180% ROI. And I swear it was like 2 or 3 minutes, like before I hit the button that it was gone. The contract did zero. Everybody beat me on the withdrawal. All gone. So I quickly learned it, you really got to do your research. That was my first inkling. I lost money pretty much right away. And, part of your question is, well, what really kept me around? I was like, man, I just lost money. There's no way I don't want to lose again. I want to win. There's got to be good projects out there. There's got to be honest teams. There's got to be devs and things that are going to last, instead of these ones that are just like a week or two or a month. So I started doing more research, and I got into a couple more projects, and I started making some money, and it was like, man, this is a lot of fun, and I just had a lot of fun doing it. I was really enjoying it. I started making money and realized that if you devise a set of like rules, a lot of people, I'm really degen-y. For anybody that knows me knows I'm really into a lot of the crazy or more degen stuff. But if you have a list of rules and a set of standards that if you invest, like literally, I say first in, first out all the time to people. And a lot of people hate that motto, but it is true. Even if it's not a degen project, why not? What does it hurt being the first guy or one invested in the first 30 seconds it go live? It can't hurt you. It can only increase your ROI and increase your chances of benefiting from the project. So I'm always, that was always one of my things. I've always, when I've got into a lot of projects late that were obviously had a lot of Ponzonomics backing them, I always got stuck holding the bag. One thing I try to preach to people too is like, there's a way to take profits from a project without killing it, crushing it, just, taking everything and leaving nothing for everyone else. I get it that everybody wants to make money, but I've also learned along the way that there's a way to gently take profits, not marry the project and hold it till it turns to dirt, but yet make something that keeps it alive and really helps it out. So between losing money and couldn't face the reality, like, damn, I got beat, basically I lost it, it's some of them are gambles. Let's just call it what it is. I went in the casino, I threw 200 Matic on the table and they wiped it away. And I wanted to throw 200 more in there and I was hoping to win. So that kept me going. That motivated me. We'll fast forward to like right now. I've never understood it. And I say it a lot. Why do, and it's even the stock market, it's in crypto, it's in business, it's in the housing market, it's in everything that we do. When it gets bad, everyone runs. They sell for a loss. They start running. Why? This is the time to buy. I've been accumulating like my favorite coins and tokens that I believe in. And like we'll talk more about XRP later and stuff like that. But I bought XRP at like under 30 cents. I got Matic at under 30 cents. AVAX at under $10. Why wait? Why sell them if you bought them at 50 or 100 last year? Why sell them at like, those prices? I just don't understand. Just either hold on and take the ride, or why not stock up with every nickel you have extra right now and take the ride up instead of the ride down? And that's kind of where we're at right now. I've been,
makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, investing a lot in my favorites, and like I had a huge bag XRP and a few others. So, but that's kind of where we're at right now. And like I said, I just never really understood why people ride the train the wrong way. They're chasing green candles. I only buy on red days. So, that's a good mentality to have.
It's a hard thing to do though. Like it's psychologically it's really difficult because A, you'll either think it's going to go down more or B, it's never going to recover. And that's what you're sort of betting against when you dollar cost average in at the bottom. So, I mean, I think it's the right approach, but it seems like you're either a extremely determined individual or just doggedly stubborn, which are both good qualities for people that want to stick around in this space. Because if you get shook out after losing your first $200 to what sounds like, basically playing Mafia Wars on Facebook in 2008, you're never going to make it in the space. It's the people that can stick around and suss out the good projects from the bad and figure out where they want to place their bets. And, there's a lot of fun. I'm glad you have fun because a lot of people find this extremely stressful,
Yeah, it does have a huge stress thing for me. I definitely picked up some gray hairs along the way for sure. But again, I really enjoy it. When I first got started too, and I didn't mention this, is I got behind the computer and I thought it was a one-man thing. I'm just this one guy and I'm versing everyone else. It's me versus the world on the blockchain. And I found out that that's not really true. To really make it work, we really need to build strong communities. We need to support each other. We need to have people around you that you can trust. And I've met a lot of them guys, and you're one of them, Rad Dad. And Shane is another one. I have a lot of good guys that I could trust. I could ask for help, their opinions. We have communities. I have the DeFi Snipers crew. We have a lot of different people, and we've all stuck together. And that's another winning formula is that, like I said, getting in first is one of them, but also having a community of people that we can network and say, this is good and this is bad. And, these devs and keep an eye on this. And it's just a way for us to all spread the news and really just, it's important to have a community. It really is. Without community, there is no crypto. So
couldn't agree more. But I want to give Shane a minute here to introduce himself. So CryptoCrazy, also known as Shane, how did you get into the space and what drives you these days?
Thanks. First of all, thanks for having us on the show.
My pleasure.
Much appreciated. It's a great thing you have going here with your podcast. My story is not quite as in depth as Rocco. I mean, he's had his toes pretty much in everything when it comes to crypto. Myself, I found out about it through a mutual friend of mine, actually an ex-coworker, and he mentioned Bitcoin to me about 2.5 years ago. I had heard about it, didn't really know what it was, thought it was a scam, thought it was a Ponzi, like everybody else who doesn't know anything about the space. But I thought I'd take a look. So my journey started with spot buying, bought a few tokens here and there, and basically just rode the bull market like everybody else. And then, excuse me, after that, once the bull market peaked and it started to come down, I was looking for other ways to just other parts of the crypto market that I took an interest in, and NFTs was the next logical step. And NFTs went through that phase where they became really popular, and it was they were trending on every social media. So I thought I'd give it a try, and I got into it through crypto.com. They opened up their NFT marketplace, and I did a lot of research, and I figured out how to actually mint NFTs. I figured out how to figure out or how to know which projects are decent, which ones are going to last, which ones have utility. I learned all about the different traits and rarities and all those sorts of things. And then it branched from crypto.com to OpenSea, and then the other chains as well. Once the NFT market started to die down, that's when I got introduced into DeFi. I just kind of went on Telegram, went to the different channels, went to Twitter, learned about projects, went on their socials, asked questions, and I started learning a little bit more and realized, okay, well, this is someplace I want to be, because DeFi, if done right, and if you educate yourself, can be a lot of fun. One, you meet a lot of people, a lot of good socializing, and of course, you can make money if you do it correctly, as Rocco touched on. So that's how I met, actually, in the beginning, I met Arya, the dev for, at the time, it was Mountain Miner, through the Paramount Finance team. And I actually asked him a couple of questions. We chatted on a regular basis. And then when I became more familiar with the space, he actually asked me if I wanted to join the team. He thought I would be really good at community management and that sort of thing. And I jumped at the chance because I'd never done anything like that before. And yeah, the rest is history. After that, I met Rocco, I met Cryptobes, I met Eli, of course, Arya. There's a bunch that are in the space that are really, really solid people. and they all have good intentions. They all want to see the DeFi space be a safe place, which I know it's kind of difficult with everything that's been going on, but I mean, there is a way, and having people that are like-minded and have the same goals as you surrounding you, there's nothing better.
No, that's cool. And I think we're all sort of building up this network of people that are, we'll call them more trustworthy, because there's just so much shit in the space right now. Like we gotta figure out a better way forward. I'm not disenfranchised with DeFi, because I think there's a lot of good that we can do, and there's a lot of wealth to be made. But the way that it's happening now is very scammy, and so I'm glad that there are teams like you guys out there that are doing things the right way, and you're bringing projects that are interesting, but also there's no chance of getting rugged, right? Thank you for that, because as an investor, I want to know that the team that's backing the project is there to do the right thing, which is important. On NFTs, by the way, I'm the world's worst NFT trader. So I think every JPEG I ever bought is now pretty much worthless. So I'm basically an art collector, very sophisticated digital art collector.
You and me both, Red Dad. I have approximately 200 NFTs in my wallet that are worth maybe a fifth of what they were.
You know what? I get it. Like, come on. It's some of it was FOMO, some of it was excess liquidity in the financial system that just got shoveled into JPEGs. But there is utility behind it. I think NFTs and DeFi are coming together more and more, and you're going to start to see kind of what the power of an NFT is, as opposed to just a profile picture.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot of utility behind it. You just got to figure out what that is.
Nothing wrong with a cool profile picture, but I think that there's going to need to be more behind it in the future, right?
Yes.
Awesome. So thank you for the intros, guys. We didn't call out, but Rock over there's got a pretty cool YouTube channel. So I'll throw the link to that in the show notes below, that everybody can check out and watch his content. He also has a Telegram group that he runs called the DeFi Snipers Collective, like his avatar shows, which I'll throw another link in the show notes below, that you can join his community and find those like-minded people that Shane talked about. So from there, I do want to kind of shift into the project that you're actually working on now, which is a mining project, Kang Kai. And I'll pull it up here just so everyone can kind of get the aesthetic, because I fucking love how this looks. Like, you guys did a really good job with the visuals on this one. So kudos to whoever was the creative designer behind this. It's like I'm playing Double Dragon or something. Like, I love the pixel art. I love the vibe. So why don't you just kind of give me the background on how this whole thing came about?
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you like the graphics and the UI. That was actually, it was not one person that came up with that. I had mentioned surrounding yourself with people that have the same vision, and that's exactly what happened with this project. I'll start from the beginning. Arya, the dev for the project, he is working on something. He has been for a little while now, and he did have this miner kind of in the background, but he kind of put it in the back pocket, we'll say, because he was concentrating on this new project. And him and I happened to be chatting, and we were in a Telegram group. Actually, I think it might have been DeFi Snipers, as a matter of fact. And I had mentioned that the mountain miner in space, the one which I got into DeFi, it was my first project, was still going, and it was over 10 months old, and it was still paying me out, albeit only like 25 crow or something a week. But the point is, it's still healthy, it's still paying out, and it's over 10 months old. So that just proves that community and investors that believe in a project can keep a project going for a long time. It doesn't matter if it's a miner or an ROI, external revenue project. It doesn't matter what it is. So he DM'd me and he said, "Listen, I had this idea for a miner. I kind of put it on the back burner because I've been so busy. But you have inspired me. And if you want, I will write the code, complete the contract, and you run with it. You pick your team and run it the way you wish." I jumped at the chance right away. I was like, yeah, of course I'll do it. Right away, I got a hold of Rocco, asked him if he would join because he's one of the guys that I trust in the space. Of course, he agreed, which I was happy with. And Cryptos, who is our marketing, our team, I guess, coordinator or whatever you want to call him, the community manager. And he agreed as well. So from there, it happened actually rather quickly, because the word Kang Kai, the actual definition of it, basically means big-hearted, lavish, one who is into donating and charity and those sorts of things. So I I literally Googled because I knew I wanted it to be of a Chinese because I'm fascinated with Chinese culture, so I knew I wanted it to be sort of that theme. And then when I did some Google searches, that came up, and boom, right away I knew that was going to be it. And then Cryptos had mentioned that the blessing is sort of something that is big in Chinese culture, which refers to giving back and donating. So that became an automatic. And in the contract, we decided to do, instead of a lottery, it's a similar thing, but we take a portion of the deposits which go into a separate account, and once a week we basically donate that to investors. So the theme of it, like the '90s video game retro pixel art theme, was actually Oxaria's idea. He just kind of pitched it to me or mentioned it, and then from there we just ran away with it. Our graphics designer Eli, he's phenomenal at what he does. He's got a talent for AI generating, and the pixel art just came in droves. We had so many pictures thrown back and forth in our chats. It was hard to choose which ones we were actually going to use. I'm sure eventually we use them all because they are incredible. And then he did up a sticker pack as well on Telegram, which is unbelievable. If anyone's on the Kang Kai Telegram group, you know what I'm talking about. There are so many people in the chat that actually want one for themselves because they're just that cool. So that's how it came about. And it didn't take very long for the team. We were throwing around ideas, and because we worked so well together, it just came together very fast. And everyone pitched in. It was a great collaboration.
No, that sounds great. And yeah, hats off to Eli, because I really like the vibe that it puts out, colors of pop, and the whole thing pulled together really nicely. So I'll definitely check out that sticker pack and steal it from you, because I'm a big fan. But can you, for our audience, explain, and for me, honestly, I've never been in a miner. Of all the things I've done in crypto, I've never entered a miner. So can you just kind of give me the explain like I'm five version of what a miner actually is?
Okay, in the quick run down. Our miner is a static miner. So what that means is you earn your 3% on your investment, regardless of what the contract is at. And the way that works is, every project has a life cycle. So as the life cycle of a static miner ends, your rewards or your dividends, whatever you want to call them, your interest, it stays the same until it reaches zero. It's not dependent on like some other miners, how they depend on the contract TVL, the total value your lock, and what you get in return is based on that. So that's the difference there. A miner is basically, I don't want to give a dictionary definition, but you invest in the contract, and depending on what the percentage return is on that contract, you get that on a daily basis. Now, every miner does vary. Some you can, withdraw your earnings dailies. A lot of them are weekly. Ours is weekly, and the strength of the project is 100% determined on investors that invest in the contract. So if investors keep investing, and those that are invested, they play the we'll call it a game properly, where they do claim profits, which we always recommend, and then also inject some back into the contract. That just prolongs the life of the miner. So it's basically investor dependent, 100%.
I mean, as most projects are, but I'm curious, like what I've heard about miners, and this is not a dig at yours at all, is that if you're not within the first couple hours, it extremely limits your profitability. So is there anything sustainability wise, or like, am I too late to join into the miner to realistically get profit out of it?
No, see, that's the other great thing about a static miner. Like I said, whatever your investment is, you get in our case, it's 3% a day, no matter what. Doesn't matter if you get in on day 1 or if you get in on day 14. That's why you have to do your own research. As long as the contract is strong and the TBL is still at a high level, you have as much of a chance to earn your ROI as the guy that got in on day 1.
Cool. Very cool to hear.
So something I wanted to add in about miners, and like you wanted an explanation kind of on what is a miner. You were never in one before. So Kang Kai does vary from a lot of other miners. So if you look back to something like, let's say, the old original B&B miner or the original baked beans, like the V1 version. So in the contract, it has like almost like an algorithm or something kind of like that. It's easy to explain it that way. That's built in, that gives you market eggs or beans, let's say, for how much you buy. So in a lot of those markets, when you get into those miners, the first person that literally invests is going to get an astronomical amount of like eggs or beans. And then the more people that keep coming in, they get less and less and less. So say you were first B&B in, you're going to have almost as much market eggs or beans as maybe someone that got in 50 B&B later in the contract. They're getting way less than what you're getting. So that also hurts you. That's the advantage of like, a static miner where like, there's no late to the project, because you're going to get you get one fortune cookie for every one BUSD. That's the same day one or, day 10 as where so kind of the other big difference is as a regular miner and like those V1 versions, they will literally don't pay out a static percentage like daily. So what happens is as inflation comes, the more people that compound and compound and compound, they're growing those market eggs or, beans or whatever you may per the name of the project. The inflation grows so high, you might be making 3% that first week or that first month. And then towards the end, you're literally almost every miner I've been in that wasn't static, months down the road, they're still paying out. But I get to the point where I just quit them because it's not worth to pay the gas fee. In my personal opinion, I'm not going to pay CZ $5 a week to make $6 a week. That's just not my style. I rather just chalk it up and just let somebody else claim it that really wants it. So, but yeah, that's the biggest difference I feel in the static versus the traditional, like the old school B&B miners and stuff like that. But they're both a lot of fun. Both have a lot of opportunities to make money. The traditional ones, yeah, it's more crucial to get in right away. But again, we've seen B&B miner make a second resurgence. Baked beans went to 35,000 B&B. So there's a lot of different. It's all about your marketing. It's all about your community. It's really about the engagement. And then we've added like what do you want to call it, Shane? Like almost like a suggestion or a kind of like a game theory for people, in the community that, if you want to increase the length of, the duration of it, we have a really innovative, unique feature that has the slider, which a lot of other miners don't have that. And you'll be able to choose whether you want to, with one push of a button without having to like redo it manually, you can choose to take 50% of your profits and put 50% back towards like, reinvest and put towards your, theoretically a compound, but, compound's a dirty word to me in DeFi sometimes. So we like to call it the reinvest. But basically, by doing that, if new investors come in and see that everyone's just draining, and we're not even specifically just talking about Kang Kai, but any project, it makes it a lot harder for new investors to want to come in. If the community rallies behind it and reinvest like 50% or more the first weeks into the beginning, it makes it much more appetizing for someone to want to come in and say, hey, 7, 10, 15, whatever, 20 days later, hey, I still want to get into this project. So it truly just depends on the community. We are coming up on our 7-day claim cycle in the next few days. So we will see what direction the community goes. But so far, we've had amazing support. Every video, AMA, Medium articles, everything has literally been done by people that we have, basically, I want to say are acquaintances and friends and people that support, us and our ideas. And it's been absolutely amazing. So anyone listening to this, if you've chipped in or helped out in any way, I want to thank you here, and I truly do appreciate it. It has been a huge team effort.
Oh, that's cool. I appreciate you sort of making the distinguishing between static and traditional miners, because people hear the word miner, I think, and then they assume that they, what I did, where you got to be in the first hour or you're kind of fucked. So glad to hear that, this thing, could run as long as the community wants it to. So I do want to ask about the community, because I harp on this all the time on the show. Community. It's massively important when it comes to projects. But what's your approach? Like, how have you sort of gone about, building the foundations of the Kang Kai community, and sort of where are you trying to take it over the next, let's call it 3 to 6 months, for example?
I'll take on that one. Yeah, we started here's an interesting thing that not a lot of people know about Kang Kai is when we started the project, like Rocco said, we didn't do any paid marketing or advertising. It was basically just word of mouth through contacts that we made in the space, and then of course they pass on the word to others. And then as once we released the white paper and the website, so people were able to go on and take a look. One of the things that you love about it, Rad Dad, is the graphics, and we got so many comments on the way the UI looked, the old school vibe, the old video game vibe, and then they see the team that's behind it. They know who Oxria is. He's been in many projects. He's doxed in KYC through Anonymous, and Rocco's been in the space for which seems like an eternity. YouTuber, well respected, and the rest of the team as well. So they right away they're like, oh, okay, well, let me see what this is all about because we know these guys, we trust these guys. And then once they check out the project and see how it works, even though it is quote unquote a minor, they got on board. So our Telegram channel boomed like right away. We shot up to 300 in no time at all, which anyone who has tried to start a Telegram channel will know that that's really hard to do. It's a very active community, and then we have I'm in many chats as well as Rocco, and we see people spreading the word in all the different communities, which is great to see. That's the best thing about community, as you were alluding to. It's the trust factor. The more you're involved in the community and the more you get your name out there and people realize who you are, they trust you. So when you come up with something, they're going to obviously do their own research, but they're going to give it a little bit more clout because of who's launching it, whose project it belongs to.
Yeah, I think it's massively important to sort of build up your base of like your cheering fans that are going to support this thing from the ground up. But because you've sort of already established this, you've got the DeFi Snipers Collective, and then sort of, we'll call it a bubble of communities that are sort of peripherally attached to it, that you can draw the quality people together behind an app. I think it's powerful, right? It gives you such a leg up on someone that's starting from scratch, trying to do this for the first time with no presence online anywhere. So definitely ahead of the curve in that regard.
Yeah, and integrity is big as well. If you've been involved in or have brought projects to the space in the past that have had nothing but FUD or there were issues with the contract or God forbid any unethical activities with the team, you're not going to gain community trust or keep it if you once had it. You've lost it. Once you lose it, you've lost it forever. So you got to make sure you have integrity, you're honest, and you have good character in order to maintain your status in the space.
I am curious. I know you're not the dev of the project, but like, what are your views on sort of immutable versus non-immutable and trust and in DeFi in general? Like, is there a golden standard? Is there one way to success? Like, I don't know. I find it difficult when a contract gets renounced and then all of a sudden you realize there's 2 flaws and an exploit in it that you now have to V2 it or something. Like, so I'm curious, what's your take on that right now?
For me personally, I think that depends on what type of project you're launching. If you're launching a miner like we just did, you can have the contract immutable because there's nothing that needs to be done. There's no external revenue. There's no treasury. There's nothing where you need to pivot or make decisions along the way where anything has to be changed. It's a miner. But if you have something that, for example, well, we've seen a lot of it lately, but I'll go with like Furio, Momentum as 2 examples where their original plan just didn't quite go according to plan, their original vision. So they had to make changes. Now, the changes that some of these projects are making are, maybe not the best decision for the investors, but I can understand that sometimes they need to be made. Now, that being said, if the team or the dev is trusted, KYC, docs, the whole 9, he's trusted in the space, then having a contract with the option to make changes or what have you, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because sometimes changes are necessary to make a project stronger. But for the most part, I see investors and the sentiment is if it can't be messed with, it's probably better that way. Like I said, it depends on the project. Personally, that's my opinion.
No, I don't disagree with that. I don't think there's one right answer here, right? But I think That's why it's tough when everyone's, and this isn't a knock on you guys for showing avatars. It's like 90% of the people in the space are behind avatars, but not having sort of visibility and sort of a resume that you can look on is like, okay, this worked, this didn't work, this worked, this didn't work. But knowing that that's the history of that developer, then you might make decisions based on that. But you can't in this space, right? It's purely about the code. So I don't know. Everyone's got a different viewpoint on it. I don't know what the solution is long term, and I think it's probably some sort of hybrid of both. But I think as we get more trusted development teams building ecosystems and launching quality stuff, I think it'll be less of a factor going forward.
Yeah, I definitely. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Shane.
I was just gonna say I agree 100%.
Yeah, I think like you said, I agree. There's no right or wrong at this point. It's really hard to say. So I know the debate. I'm really close. And shout out to all them guys over at Baked Beans 2.0. Kratos is a great guy. I love the project. I'm personally invested there. They launched with a proxy contract. Boy, was the community, you've seen everything, FUDing, people talking shit, whatever, it was, but the firm believers like myself realized that so you can look at it from a lot of value there. They actually corrected a few things that they were able to correct that wouldn't have been possible if they would have made the contract immutable for day one. So again, it stops people, say for instance, you do launch a miner, and I've seen a couple come out where one line of string of code is just a little bit off and the money can never be withdrawn. Yep. I've seen it happen. Actually, I think it was remember there was a gentleman that came out with an avarice miner.
Yep.
He couldn't the money was like locked in there. So, does that make me feel safe though? Like, so are you safe and they're protecting you by making it? There's just too many bad actors in the community. So that's why it's a no-win situation, guys. Like you basically, if it's a trusted team and like I knew Kratos and them guys and I was, a big part of that. And I really liked that and what they were doing. Yes, I was all in on it. But if it was some guys that, maybe I didn't know and it was, proxy contract, would I have aped in and went crazy? Probably not. I would have tread a lot more lightly, maybe not invested at all. And, but I've seen projects like Piston, where they basically the whole time they were able to make changes to the contract, but that also helps rumors spread too,
Yeah.
Like was
Definitely.
was that a slow rug over the last year? You don't know because they were able to cut money. No one knows. And like, hey, no knock against them. I'm just using it as examples. But
For sure.
But a lot of projects in the late, and even Shane can attest to this, made some really bad decisions that were more aimed. That I felt like it only had the big whales in mind, and Furio was one of them. All the big whales max wilded it out, and then as soon as they max wilded it out, they changed it. They even said the contract was immutable at one point, and then still made another change after stating that the contract was immutable, which I just don't get. So. I was a big supporter of Furio, and now I no longer. I'm out. What can I say? I've made profit there, so I can't. I'm not mad neither nor way. But there's a lot of people who have not, and I feel bad for them people that basically claimed or never claimed and followed that juicy 2.5% a day all the way to compound heaven, and basically you never make any money. And
it's a good point about DeFi in general and anything involving compounding. It's so tempting to do the Excel spreadsheet and see where am I going to be in 180 days if I just keep clicking that button, right? But 180 days is a fucking lifetime in crypto. So you got to make sure you're taking profit along the way because you just never know, right?
I think I found a good strategy to go along with that. So the way I really found out is I always, if I fall in love with the spreadsheet and I want to do what you said, I want to compound for 6 months, and I'll start 2 wallets, and I'll literally I'll do my thing and take my profits as I need and see fit, and the other one I'll compound till the cows come home, and I always make sure that wallet's a little smaller so it's a lot less risky. But like I did it with Furio. Basically, I literally put 40 Fury and compounded it to over 1,000. So that was a huge move. It didn't pay off in the end for me, but if it did, it could have been huge. It was worth the risk because at that time, what was 40 fewer? Nothing. They were $5 each, so it wasn't a big deal. But and again, I'm not trying to knock any one project, but that just happens to be a great example of why you should not compound nonstop. Never marry the projects you're involved with. Always, like I said earlier, gently take some profits along the way. Because if an exploit happens, they rug, it's anything. No matter what happens, you'll always feel better if you took something out. There's no worse feeling than losing it all.
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree.
So
now, Rock, I want to sort of parlay that question into your YouTube channel and your Telegram group, and sort of help me understand, as a newer content creator, how you manage sort of the weight of responsibility of putting out content for projects that you may or may not know the team on, and then bringing it to a community. Like, how do you make sure that your reputation stays intact while still taking potentially some risky plays?
Of course, there's always there's a lot of the generic sayings that go along with everything. Don't invest more than you can lose. And, there's the standard, let's call it spiel, that everybody on YouTube or whatever it may be, this is the not financial advice.
Just do.
Don't do what I do, but invest in this project, but it's not financial advice.
Exactly.
There is a thin line. It really is. And it's tough. Something that I found along the way that really helps me. So I talk to the projects. Like, that's really important to me. Number one, I'm behind the scenes. I familiarize myself with the devs. I really try to talk to them. I want to get to what I call as the gatekeeper, which really is either the owner or the dev of the project. Before we talk about anything else, the most important thing to me is I want them to tell me, like, a little bit about themselves, what the project's all about, what other projects they've done, how did they know to contact me? Because a lot of people will reach out to me, and it's my job to sort through, basically, let's call it what it is, the trash, and get to the good ones, and then promote them. And I've made mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not perfect. Again, I follow this little criteria is where I try to bring the safest or safer DGen projects that I possibly can. But since the beginning, my channel's always covered the super high risk, high reward projects almost from day one. And people know that about me. Like, I'm not the James Pelton of, fancy rugs, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not this guy that's like, people come to me and they want to promote like these projects, like, long-term ecosystems. Of course I do. I promote a lot of different projects along the way, but I always sprinkle in my DGen pick of the week or a few, and really, like I said, the most important thing is that people see me in the community. I'm active. I'm in there. The DeFi snipers, as you see on the bottom, it says collective. So I'm not just the guy. I'm not the YouTuber. I'm not trying to be this. A lot of guys get on YouTube and like, and again, this ain't no knock on you, but, you're very humble. And I'm trying to follow that route. I don't want to get to the point where I think because I'm on YouTube and I'm putting out content that I'm a DeFi superstar. That's not my goal. My goal is to really just be in the mix, in the community, on the ground, with my ear to the blockchain, where we're all equal on a level playing field. If I invest in a project and I'm reporting that as like a part of my journey and people see it, that I'm showing my journey and they choose to get into the project. If I make a mistake and they follow me in and they actually lose money, I own up to that to the community. I make a mistake, I put it out there. Hey, there's news comes out, hurry up, revoke this wallet, do this, do that. We try to bring the information as fast as we can because I'm not always going to be 100% correct. And having a strong community, there's a lot of guys in there. We have, Ox is in there, Daikon, Corby, Kratos, all them guys. They're really up to date on what's going on. Captain Bourbon's in there. She's a dev. There's a lot of really cool people in the group, and they're really up to date what's going on, and they really help me bring out the latest news as fast as we can if there's anything bad happening. And we don't just try to play it off that we're only we're winning on every project. See, a lot of people on YouTube, they give the delusion that everything they promote's a winner. And that's just not true. Of course, I'm human. I make mistakes. I invest in bad projects just like anyone else. I make bad decisions. I've been guilty of not reading white papers and just aping in without reading anything. And I've made all those mistakes. And I hope, I'm learning along the way, and I'm building up what I call like a radar. It's like your gut. And your gut in crypto is really important. Like whether it's trading or entering in projects or even just meeting people like in real life, like you should have that connection with whatever you're doing, whether it's meeting someone and getting a vibe in your gut or investing in a project. And I basically, the most important thing is like owning up to it. Like if you're not investing in these projects and you're telling people that you are, and then for instance, all these new bot projects that basically rugged on us, I was invested in all them personally, lost a lot of money personally. And like, okay, I promoted them, I backed them, I had belief in some of them, I talked to the team, some of them doxed to me, like on like VCs and stuff, and they built their trust with me. And then I'm just like anyone else. I'm a part of the community. I'm investing, and like I'm really trying to just show my journey more than anything. And like as long as you're upfront with people, I feel like there is ways to just apologizing is not enough to people, but I do my best to like make it up to people any way I possibly can, and bring the news out as fast as possible. I feel like that's really important.
No, I think it's a good approach. I mean, there's nobody that's going to be 100% accurate, and we're all adults here, right? We control our own finances, and I hope that people end up landing in DeFi have sort of taken control of their own path. But it's great to listen to people that have done some research, and I don't pretend to know everything, right? Like I'm learning just as much as my audience is a lot of times when I have these conversations. So I personally, I'll always tell you if I'm invested in a project, and I don't even look at the charts of any project that comes on here that is a token. I don't even know I don't give a shit. Like I'm here to talk about the team and what they're building, right? So I think it's, as long as you are open with your community and you've got those people that can kind of find the current events and be like, all right, disconnect here or pull out here or whatever, that's the best we can do in this space. Like there's nothing else to do. So kudos to you for, backing your community, really.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I take it serious. Like I
should.
really do enjoy like the DeFi snipers. Like I'm always there. Like if somebody who ever wants to talk to me or reach out to me, it's simple. I'm usually hanging out there, talking with a bunch of people that I've met in there. And, that group started out with just 11 guys, like, that I met in crypto over, like, let's say the last 2 years, about 2 years ago when I started meeting people. We literally were just a bunch of guys that got cool, and I was in a group, and I said, well, hey, let me start my own group. And I invited these 11 guys, and it was private. You couldn't get in. It was invite only. And then, it grew a little more. We made some more connections, and a couple cool other guys jumped in. And for the longest time, it was just like me and 16 dudes, including myself. And we set a goal. I said, like, why don't you guys reach out and both, everyone here invite a few people that you really think that, are solid guys. Here's your invite links. Let's do it. And when we hit 100 people, like real members, we'll go public. And that's basically what we did. And then it's just been barnstorming since. We're about to hit 1,000 real people, no bots. Everyone in the group at one point or another I've talked to, maybe done some business for some, promotions or whatever it may be. Every single person in that group I spoke to at least once.
That's
so
wild, man.
Pretty cool.
No, very cool. Very cool. And congrats, 1,000's wild. That's, especially in this environment right now, that's hard to find.
It's tough. And I think right now, actually, lately it's been growing even more, because what's happening is like people are showing their true colors. So there's a lot of people that were in this, and one of my biggest gripes is this. So you'll get the guy. There's a thin line about what I'm about to come out and say. So you'll get the guy that says, "I don't do this for the money." I'll call bullshit, because who got in crypto not to make money? Come on, man. Let's talk seriously. We're all adults. But on the other hand, do I do it just for the money. No, there's so much more. Like I said, I'm an outgoing guy. I'm a friendly guy. I enjoy the community. I enjoy the aspect of it. I love everyone sharing ideas and different things. And I learned so much. Like, I've learned so much from the guys in the group, Shane, Corby, Daikon, all, lots of guys. I can't Kratos. I can't mention them all, that taught me like a lot about leverage trading. And just small things, like all different things. And there's so much stuff. All you have to do is ask. There's so many different people that know so many different things about crypto. We have auditors in there, we have devs in there, we have promoters. There's, everyone, if you have an NFT question, there's NFT guys. There's always somebody in there. Lately a lot of topics been about like the US economy and the market and like, what it's doing to affect us in general. So there's been a lot of really educational stuff going around. We also do dumb stuff too. We post pictures of what we ate for lunch, and like, we laugh, and we post pictures of the Wienermobile like 100 times. Like we want to rent the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile and go around the country and visit everyone, like the stupid stuff. So it's light and it's fun, but it's educational too. And I kind of diversed off what I was saying, but so that just kind of backs my point. Like, a lot of people are coming into our community and other good communities. I'm not going to say I'm the only great community around. There's lots of other good ones. But what's happening is you notice people are leaving a lot of other communities because the owners of the community, or whether it's a YouTuber or someone, they're kind of showing their true colors at the end of the day. They were only here for one reason. They didn't give a shit about the community. They just cared about the referrals. They just cared about making money off of the people. And that's not what it's always really been about for me. I even basically save up a lot of the referrals, and like I put them on the side, and that's what I fund, like all my giveaways and my games. And like when people come in and we do AMAs, if the team really don't do a giveaway, I'll just do one on my own. And I'll throw a little plug out there, just a little tidbit. So I'm kind of getting tired of getting gamed on the games, if you get what I'm saying. A lot of people come in, they're really not really active community members, and they're finding ways to always game my giveaways and my prizes. And I've been feeling like, not to say they don't deserve it because they put in the work, but on those gamey ones, there's a gamey bot that's literally on Telegram. You can literally game the game, link the bot, and win the highest score every time. So I don't feel like that's giving back to the community. Someone's literally cheating. So I've come up with a project that I've been working on for quite some time, and I really can't say too much about it except for that it will be a true model, using social media leverage to truly give back everything that I possibly can to the community, for people that believe in me and the DeFi snipers. And I'll leave it at that, but we could talk about it another time possibly.
100%. Big tease.
I found a way to give back to the community, leverage my social media presence, and truly be able to not get gamed, to give back to the people that supported me since day one. So should be pretty cool. But like I said, people show their true colors. And in this market, we've seen who, like you said, who stuck it out, who left, who ran, who hid, and what people's true intentions really were. So I think we needed this market. And, I would have loved to have been, $100,000 Bitcoin right now. Who wouldn't? But I think it shook out the weak hands, the fake hands, the bullshitters, and like the fake people. And now we're going to see who the true OGs are, who stuck it out in tough times. So.
And Rad Dad, if you couldn't tell by now, that man is very passionate about crypto and DeFi.
That's why he's here. It's why I'm part of the community. Honestly, I love it. I love it. But okay, we're coming up on time here. But I want you both to convert me to XRP Moonboy, Rad Dad. I want to know why XRP. And there's obviously a lot of news. There's a lot of people that believe that this is the one that's going to take them to the 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure stats. So why is it that you guys are XRP believers?
I'll go first on this one.
Please
Let me give you a quick rundown.
Yeah, man. Let them know.
There is a term that people say, it's called, if you can't beat them, join them, right? So right now, anybody that's in crypto, then the enemy number one are the banks. Now, XRP, where they come in, Ripple to be more precise, where they're going to come in is banks are going to realize, they already have started, they're going to realize that crypto and blockchain is the future of finance. XRP and Ripple Labs, the parent company, they are going to be the bridge for banks to get into crypto. So XRP is going to be the cross-border payments, and I wouldn't say world currency, but it's going to be widely used as a form of payment in the traditional financial system and in crypto. It may take some time, but it's going to happen. And this whole SEC lawsuit, this is just a formality. I think it's the SEC saving face, Gary Gensler getting his dirty little fingers wherever he can. But it's going to end the way everyone knows it's going to end. It's either going to be a settlement in favor of XRP, or it's going to be an outright ruling in favor of, sorry, not XRP, Ripple. It's going to be a ruling in favor of Ripple. I see it coming. Everyone knows it's going to happen. There are a lot of haters out there, obviously, because Ripple, the company, and XRP, the token, are more on the centralized side than people like, especially if you're all about crypto and the decentralized side of it. But it is going to be the gateway and the bridge between both financial systems, and it's the future.
I'm warming up. Rock, you got anything to add to that?
So yeah, again, like I said, I'm huge on, decentralization, but this is the one to bridge everything and everyone together. There is no other one that, again, it's going to be highly centralized. Okay, I get it. But this is the one to bridge everything with the real world, with the blockchain, with the crypto community, with the real world people like JP Morgan and all these big banks and all these mega billionaire entities. This is the one that's going to bridge all the money together and allow that real world money and that market cap to blow past where it's ever been. People, number one, which I think is huge, they just, they're trying to really get their footing. The lawsuit really been, pretty ridiculous, but the government's been bored, I guess they're just looking for anyone they possibly give a hard time. They got a new president over there, which is Monica Long. She was the vice president over there, so she's really experienced on what was already happening over at XRP. So I think, that's a really strong power move. There needs to be more women in crypto right now. I think having a woman as the president of this company is a really strong move because, we have some friends, and we'll give her a shout out, E Swift and her twin sister and the girls over there. They're really awesome, and they're always looking for more women in crypto. And this is just, this is important, I feel like. I think that having a woman president over there will bring more women into crypto, and I think that's something that's really big on bridging more real world people into it. It's going to be as simple as having seamless payments worldwide. Banks don't have that real ability right now, I feel like, where they can send millions and millions of dollars for I think it's almost 2,000ths of a penny in literally under 3 seconds. Borderless payments, practically free anywhere in the world. And I think it's going to be able to bridge all different communities all over the world. The banks are going to use it to do money transfers and wire transfers. And to do that, they're going to need to buy not thousands, but millions of these XRP coins or tokens, to be able to do these money transfers. And I don't know where the number originally originated. Shane might know, but everyone knows there's always this talk of this number 589. And I don't know the whole history behind it, or it's slipping my mind, but a lot of people predict that, XRP will go to $589 a token, which is pretty cool. Based on that math, I will be a trillionaire if it ever hits, but I'll be happy if I'm a thousandaire by the end of all this. Regardless, I'm a fan of it. I'm holding it. I don't sell it. I have it stashed in a multi-sig wallet, and a lot of stuff that I don't even know if a lot of people realize, but XRP is XRPL, which is it's really attached to Ledger. XRP is literally the currency of Ledger, really, at the end of the day. And I know Shane knows a lot about that. Shane's a Ledger guy.
Oh yeah, love my Ledger. You have to have a hard wallet when you're in this space. But one final comment that might sway you, Rad Dad, is if you look at all the big banks especially in the US, a lot of them are scrambling to adapt to the technology and to the idea behind Ripple Labs, and XRPL. Now, if you've noticed any of the headlines, there are so many banks or financial institutions in the last year that have hired ex-Ripple employees. Now, tell me that is not coincidence. They are educating themselves. They're figuring out how this thing works before moving forward.
Well, you know how they say with meditation, or sorry, hypnotizing, that you have to be open to it in order to actually experience it? Well, I'm open to XRP going through the flippening. And I don't think the centralization thing is necessarily a bad thing. I don't think institutions want to invest in a decentralized because they have no control over it, right? So, and I think there will be no more heavily scrutinized like crypto product out there than Ripple and XRP after all this lawsuit shit's done with. So you're converting me. You're converting me very slowly but surely. I was kind of thinking about it before, but you know, the prices are looking pretty tasty. I might start scooping up a bag. So thank you for the shill.
You're very welcome. Even if you don't believe in XRP and Ripple itself, just look at it as purely a financial decision. The price of XRP has been suppressed now for 2 years because of this lawsuit. So even on that alone, if you're just looking to pump your bags and make a good profit on the price rise, that alone should be enough.
Well, the Swift system is just a fucking joke. Like the amount of time and money it takes to move money in our current state is ridiculous. So there definitely needs to be some sort of disruption. It's just a matter of if XRP and Ripple is the ultimate solution for that. But adoption is key, right? It's going to take a lot of people getting on board, but I think it only takes one or two major players to get on board before everything just follows suit, right? So they're not going to shop around too much if there's an out-of-the-box solution that's working as intended. So cool. Let's 589. Fuck yeah, let's go, man. That's great.
I'd be happy.
You know what, though, here, I used to have a problem, and I talked about this, I think it was the last episode or 2 weeks ago, about Doge and the market cap and how I used to be like, fuck no, it's not going to $1. Like, you do the math on the market cap, but at the end of the day, nobody really cares. Nobody cares about market cap. It's just a comparison tool. It doesn't really matter, especially in an environment where US dollars are constantly inflating. What does market cap mean anyway? Like, if 40% of all US dollars are printed in the last 12 months, then why would we compare market caps to something from 5 years ago even? Because we're not talking about the same dollar figure, right? So, I don't know. I'm looking at that metric less and less as an indicator or as a ceiling, so to speak, of where things could go, and just, you know, holding on for the ride now.
Oh yeah, if you get adoption, market cap means nothing.
Exactly.
I know we're getting towards the end, and like I am definitely. We always get into the tinfoil hat conspiracies every time we talk. We could continue this another time. And we can jump on the spaces, man, and we can have some more fun. We can continue where we left off, and we always do our little crypto conspiracies and, you know, government conspiracies, and there is a lot of them. You know, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now. So, you know, like you said, the dollar is not the same dollar as it was, and it never will be, and it literally just keeps getting weaker and weaker as we just keep, you know. I always grew up that when people said that the government's printing money, I literally thought as a child that they were actually printing the money on the press. And as I grew older and realized that they're literally just going on a computer and adding some decimal points and some, you know, commas, and that's it. It's so fake and ridiculous. I just, at some point, like, you know, the dollar's going to just, it's not worth anything. So I think crypto's going to really be strong. And, you know, another little distinct on crypto is XRPs, like even getting into like other countries. They're in Montenegro now. They're helping them with their banking system, and you know that just goes on what Shane said. People are bringing them in to advise them on basically like, you know, how to like basically get money around the world. So It's going to be huge. We're all in at the right time. We're all ready to get that crypto. We've stuck around through the rough times, and we're all in the right place. So I do appreciate you having us here, man. It's been a blast.
My pleasure. Yeah. My pleasure. It was great hosting you guys.
I've been looking forward to this for a while. Thanks again for having us on.
We'll leave it at XRP to the fucking moon. Let's go. Right on,
it.
guys. Thanks so much for coming on, and we'll talk on spaces coming up. So I'll make sure to tweet out anytime I'm joining one of your spaces, and we can put the tinfoil hats back on. Sounds amazing.
I appreciate it.
Right on. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Have a nice night. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Boom. Lucky number 13 officially in the books. And thank you so much to Yoyoyocryptorock and CryptoCrazy for coming on and talking through Kang Kai, and also all the great things that you guys are doing with your community on Telegram. Hard to believe that you're going to tap almost 1,000 people if you haven't already. So pretty amazing to see. Loved having you guys on the show, and feel free, let's do a Twitter space or something in the near future, and we can riff on conspiracy theories or whatever you guys want. I love chatting with you. So thanks again, guys. Now, this was episode 13, which is a quarter of a year of podcasting, so I just wanted to take a moment and reflect and say thank you. Thank you to the Rad fam that's been there from the beginning. Thank you to the new members of the Rad fam. I really appreciate the feedback that I've gotten on Telegram as well as YouTube and via email. But we need to get this thing to 1,000 subs so I can get this thing monetized on YouTube, alright? So please, tell one friend. Just be like, yo, friend, subscribe over here, okay? Don't ask questions, thank me later, goodbye. And make them do it, okay? You can do it. So, subscribe to the channel, like the video, 5-star review, favorite podcast app. You know the drill, alright? Let's get this thing to 1,000 subs in the next few months. I am confident that there are 1,000 people out there that would benefit from this content, and I need your help to make it happen. So, that is my plea for you. In return, I will provide YouTube short content in coming weeks that will give you a good foundation in the technicals of blockchain. I know we talk a lot of crunchy details on these shows, and I want to make sure that everybody has a solid understanding of the terms and definitions that come up most frequently. So I'm going to do my utmost best to put out quality content that's short, easy to digest, and gives you a better understanding of all the things that are going on in Web3. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. So fam, with that, I would like you to keep it rad. Later, fam. The Rad DAO podcast is produced for entertainment and education purposes only. I know this because I'm not a licensed financial advisor. If you're thinking of investing in any of the tokens talked about during this episode, then I implore you to please do your own due diligence, and if necessary, consult with a licensed financial advisor.